Hi YouTube, and welcome back to all my Buster buddies. I am your host, Brad Claybaugh, and this is Brad's Boredom Busters, your textile art channel. This is the channel where we have fun with fabric. Alright, so I'm sure you saw the thumbnail, so yes, I'm doing another black t-shirt bleach painting project. Someone very dear to me requested a Hamsa on a black t-shirt, and so that's what I'm working on this project. Now this project is also probably going to be a two-parter because we've got a lot to cover on this one. But I have gone over all the steps that it's going to take to create this shirt in previous videos, and I'll put links to those at the end. Yes, we did our Tiki hoodie pinstripe project, and then recently we added flames with the airbrush on that same hoodie. And in an earlier video, I've done the black and rainbow yin-yang shirt. And that's what I intend to do is, after this one is all finished, then we're going to go and spiral it and dye it to give it some color as well. All right, so we are doing a Hamsa. And so I looked up on the internet Hamsas and some designs that go on the inside of them. And then I also worked on a layout, what I wanted to do with it. So I printed out basically what is clip art for a Hamsa, and then I printed that out the size I wanted and adhered it to some cardboard. And if you look at the sunset t-shirt video, I show you there how I made stencils, and I'll link that video as well at the end of this one. So I created this as a stencil, and then if you see, I also was working on what kind of designs I wanted to do on the inside of the Hamsa, and that'll be done by hand. So what I'm going to be doing is we'll take the stencil, use some spray adhesive and mount that to the shirt, and then I'll airbrush just a halo around the stencil, and then I'll remove the stencil, and that'll be the only thing we use the airbrush for on this project. And then with a yellow colored pencil, I'll draw out this design that I created here on the shirt, and then we'll bleach paint that on there as well. Then also we'll do a circle around the outside by hand, and then we'll do some other details around that circle, kind of give it a mandala effect. All right, so that's going to be our project. Like I say, it's probably going to end up being a two-parter because the dyeing of the shirt, I'll leave that for the second video, and depends how long this one goes. Some of it may bleed over into the dyeing of the shirt. But anyway, let's get started. So let's get over here to the table and I'll show you what I've got accomplished already, and then we'll apply the stencil and do the airbrush bleaching. All right, let's get to the table. All right, Busters, so let me kind of go over what I've gotten accomplished so far. I centered my shirt basically like you would if you were tie-dyeing. Folded these shoulder seams together to find the center of the collar. Shook it out when I held the underarm seams together to bring these 2 points then together to find the center at the bottom hem. And then I took a yardstick, drew a line so I had a good center point of the whole shirt. What you probably can't see, and I'll bring you in closer. All right, so I already created my circle. Also had the stencil on here, and so I just made some points so I knew right where it should go back on. Now for the circle, let me show you something here. All right, I'm gonna move you all around here today. So I had made myself a large compass. I did this a while ago. And basically it's just, well, I had some scrap lumber actually, but they're just like a pair of 3/4 by 3/4 inch pieces of wood. Put a screw through the top to make a pivot point, and drove a screw through the bottom here to have my pivot point there at the base. And then basically what I do is I just take, depending on what I need, pencil, Sharpie, and I'll just tape that right on here with the point down equal to where the point is of the screw. And then this makes a great compass. I can make really large circles. I've used it for art quilts. And so that's what I used to make the circle here. I did it down flat on the table before I mounted this to the easel. But I had the stencil laying on here, found the center of the stencil, and then put the compass at its center point, and then drew around here. It makes it so I'm about 1.5 inches away from the base and the top of the stencil. The stencil is obviously narrower, so I'm a little wider that way. That's fine. That gives me room now to draw some elements around the circle once we get to that point. All right, let me get you back in position. And I've got the camera better this time on that flame airbrush project. I was in the way quite a bit, so I'm trying a new position for the camera. Let me know if it works out better for you this time. All right, so let me prep the stencil to mount it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I screwed up the camera. All right, so I spray mounted the stencil to the shirt. I had the marks, so it's mounted right where I want it to be. When I created the stencil, I had these elements for the eyes. I had cut that out and left this so I knew exactly where to center that on. So these come out. So now when I set up the airbrush and get the bleach in it, I'll spray just a halo effect around the Hamsa, and then this part of the eye I'll just halo it, but the center here will be solid. So let me get the airbrush and the bleach all ready, and then we'll get back to it. Anyway, so I'm all set up. Like I say, we're just going to do a simple effect around here. Okay, and away we go. Okay, so that's that. You can see how that's already doing its work. I just want to have everything, trying to get everything about the same color, orangish. Okay, so I'll let that sit and dry for a few minutes, and then we'll pull this off, and then I can start laying out the all my detail patterns on the inside of the Hamsa. All right, we'll come right back to it when this is ready to be drawn on. All right, so that came out really nice, and Anyway, I was noticing though a little bit of sag here in the shirt, so I'm going to tape this collar up so I keep the tension on here the way I want. And I actually may stick some tape at the bottom as well. But it's just basically controlling the fabric so you get the best result possible. I don't want to distort it either, so we just want to hold it in place, not stretch it. So now I need to recreate my designs that I have on the Hamsa, and I need to transfer that here to the shirt. So we will put that there. All right, so what I'm using to do that with is basically the same thing I've drawn everything else with. It's just a regular artist colored pencil. I have another type of pencil that's made for marking on glass and metal and multi surfaces, but I find that it's a little waxy, and so the bleach doesn't like to penetrate through it. It acts as too much of a resist, whereas this isn't as waxy feeling, and this washes out just fine. So this is what I used when I did the pinstripe tiki hoodie, and so same thing I'll be using for this project. Okay, like I say, this will take a little while to draw out, so just enjoy the music. Well, you kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm not going to make you sit through all this because there's a lot of detail here to get down on the shirt. So when I get this all drawn on, I'll check back in with you and show you what I'm going to do after that. So we'll see you then. Okay, Busters, I decided that I also want to make a stencil mask for the circle that's on the shirt. So I'll put this on and then do a halo around the inside of that circle. So I'll show you how my big compass works. So here's my stencil for the Hamsa. Here's the center point, and the circle is 1.5 inches away from the bottom and the top. So all I have to do, and I've got a pencil taped on here, and then I take the screw point that goes in the center, and then I just match up to this point and make a perfectly good circle. Alright, so there's my circle. So I'll cut this out, take out the center, keep this outside part. That's my mask that will go over the shirt, and then we'll airbrush the bleach around just the inside edge to create a halo. Anyway, so I'll get this cut out. We'll use that later. Alright, we'll see you later. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's coming out really cool. It really is. Alright, Busters, so ready to do some painting, some bleach painting. So the halo came out really nice. Very happy with that. So I've got just the same mixture of 50-50 bleach water in a little glass dish or a little glass bowl right there. And I've got a synthetic chiseled brush. I find those work the best for doing kind of a pinstripe bleach painting. So I'll start on the inside pattern, then go to the outside afterward. And I'll let you watch for a little while. We'll speed through this and then work on the outside. So I'll turn off the camera at one point. I won't make you sit through the whole thing. This will take quite a while. But I'll let you watch. You get the idea of what I'm doing and how it's going to look. And then, like I say, we'll come back and we'll show you the next step. Alright, Busters, so you get the idea. I'm going to finish this up and finish up the outside, and then we'll meet at the end of that, and I'll talk to you about our next step. Alright, we'll see you then. Okay, Busters, so all my handwork is done, except there's always one spot that you always see after you think you're done. Okay, Anyway, so I'm done with that. So I am going to do one more piece of detail in these large 4 points. I'm going to add some solid circles. So I've got this stencil, the circle stencil, and it's got multiple sizes, so I've picked the ones I want. So I've got them masked off, and then I marked off where I want it to stop and start. So that'll go like that, and then basically I'm just going to fill that in to look like that. Okay, so there's my dots. Let those kind of do their thing. And because I was planning on spiraling this and dyeing it, I thought I'd do something for the back as well. And what I'm going to do is just take some of this bleach water, put it in a squirt bottle, and just kind of randomly spray the back. And then that way it'll give it some detail, and so when I do the spiral, at least it has some bleached out black areas to absorb some color. So that way the back has some interest as well as the front. So once I get the back sprayed, we need to neutralize the shirt, although the bleach has been sitting on here for quite a while, but it's still a good idea to neutralize it. I do it with baking soda. You can also neutralize with hydrogen peroxide. And then after that, it'll go through the wash. And then after the wash, it'll soak in soda ash. Normal, process to get it ready to take the dye. Alright, busters, so here's the back. Here's my spray bottle with the bleach water mixture in it, and we're just going to randomly spray on the back, kind of just do some abstract art in the back of this. Here we go. Okay, I think that'll be it. We'll let that do its thing. Then I've got to neutralize the whole shirt, and then it'll be ready to, we'll neutralize it first and then wash it, and then we'll get it ready to be dyed. All right, we'll see you at the dyeing process. All right, busters, that project came out really cool. Hey, I hope you learned something new on this project. Hey, if you really like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming projects. And hey, if you really want to help out my channel, go to my Buy Me a Coffee page and buy me a coffee. That really helps me out. Hey, all right, thanks for watching. Love you all, folks. Peace out, baby, and go bust out some art.